How's it going? Paul Mueller here. Today I'm going to talk about one of the most versatile soft plastics in the REINS lineup. This is a 3-inch REINS Axe Claw. And this bait, you can rig it a bunch of different ways. You can fish it in shallow and deep water. It's pretty much unlimited how many different ways you can rig this bait. I like fishing it on a swim jig in shallow water. I like throwing it on a trailer of a chatter bait. It's a good jig trailer no matter what kind of jig fishing you're doing. If you're fishing shallow with it, it's a great football jig trailer. I love stroking a football jig with this bait. It has so much action in the claws. Today what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about Texas rigging it, and we're going to be fishing it with a heavy weight, a 1-ounce REINS tungsten weight, and we're going to be fishing deep grass. You know, milfoil, grass that grows anywhere from 12 to 14 foot of water, and we're going to be fishing for both large and smallmouth bass. And I'm going to show you a little technique that's very effective, especially on smallmouth. Okay, now here's the rig. I'm using a REINS TG 1-ounce slip sinker. I'm using a little peg system to keep the weight from sliding. I'm using a punch skirt and a 2-aught Gamakatsu Superline EWG with this REINS Axe Claw. In my opinion, what this rig resembles is a juvenile bluegill. You know, when I'm going along these grass edges, that's what I'm seeing most of, and that's what I'm matching my colors to. The reason I'm using this 1-ounce tungsten weight is because I want a fast fall. You know, we're fishing deep grass, it grows to about 14 foot of water, and I want to get this bait to the bottom quick. You know, this is strictly a reaction bite, and by using a smaller weight, it's just not as effective. So that 1-ounce weight really performs well for me. And what I'm doing is I'm taking pitches to either the outside edge of the grass or into pockets. And what I'm doing is I'll take a pitch, I'll let the bait hit the bottom, I might pump it up once or I might pump it up twice. That's about it. And then I'll move on, make another cast. It's just strictly a reaction bite, and a lot of the hits are going to come on that initial fall. So you really have to pay attention to what your line is doing, and sometimes they can be a violent striker, and sometimes they can just come up and tick the bait, inhale it and exhale very fast. You know, so you want a sensitive rod, you want, you know, the braided line. My rule of thumb is I use braid if I'm using a 3/4 ounce or above. If I'm using 3/4 or under, I'll use a fluorocarbon like the Gamma Edge, but in this case we're using braid with the 1 ounce. And what I'm doing is I'm going along these grass edges, and I'm looking for irregularities in the grass. I'm not fishing every pocket, I'm not fishing the whole outside edge of the grass. I'm looking for certain high percentage areas. I'm looking for, when I'm fishing the outside edge of the grass, I'm looking for points or indents, or maybe it gets a little bit sparser. If I'm fishing in the grass, I'm looking for bigger pockets, and I'm also looking for where a grass bed ends or where it begins. Those are all high percentage areas. And what I can do, because you can fish so fast with this presentation, is you can key in on what the fish are doing and make a pattern. And it's just very efficient, probably one of the most efficient ways that I know of fishing deep grass.
There's one.
The fish was right on the outside edge. There's a big weed point that comes off this shoreline, and that fish was sitting right on the outside edge of that weed point. That 766 is a very powerful rod, and what I like about it is it moves them away from that cover. It's a nice fish.
There's one.
Nice smallie. This is so much fun. Nothing like hand-to-hand combat with these smallies. That'll work. That's pushing 4 pounds. Gamma Torque braid, a 766 Champion flipping rod, 1 ounce REINS tungsten weight, and a REINS Axe Claw. That was all she wrote. What a fish. One thing that separates these REINS tungsten slip sinkers from others on the market is the little insert that they use on the sinker. And what this does is it totally protects your line from any frays. And you're going to be able to fish without any accidental break-offs. And that, to me, is very important when you're choosing your tungsten. Got him. Oh. Nice smallie. Angry boy. Oh, that's the one we're looking for. Next time you guys fish deep grass, try a 1 ounce REINS tungsten weight with a REINS axe claw and a punch skirt. Catch big smallies like this. Nice smallie.